Madam Speaker, Vice Speaker Ichiyama, Majority Leader Quinlan, friends, colleagues, and all the members of the public, good morning and aloha. Madam Speaker, I wanted to take a moment to thank you for reaching out to all of the members and for having multiple collaborative conversations about how we're going to move forward in this building. Most of all, I appreciate that our leadership teams are taking a look at the culture of this building and re-examining how we conduct the people's work in this chamber. Having a shared set of values that everyone in this chamber agreed on is foundational. Congratulations to all the members who are being sworn in, especially the 11 new members that we'll be having, and for all of your family and friends who are joining you today. I know how special it is. I have my own family with me today. I have my mother, Sharon. I have my husband, Scott, my daughter, Noelle, and my son, Noah. And I know that is such a special time to have with your family and friends. I'd like to take the time to acknowledge our new Minority Caucus members and the work we've been doing. This year, our caucus grew to 9 with 3 new members. And as Madam Speaker introduced, we have Rep. Chris Muraoka, Rep. Julie Reyes-Oda, and Rep. Garner Shimizu. Our caucus has grown with a diversity of backgrounds and experience and will be an added voice to this legislature. Over the past 2 years, the Republican caucus has worked together, and for the very first time, we hosted a series of town halls across Oahu called the Listening Tour. We then sent out surveys to our districts and received 5,000 responses back. To then turn those issues into solutions, we created the Republican Legislative Advisory Board to gain insights from experts and draft concrete legislation. These steps allowed our caucus to shape our bill package with all of the information that we got back from outreach. And we did this to hear from our communities and put in legislation that they wanted. The top issues that people were most concerned about included the cost of living, housing, education, crime, Hawaiian homes, and government transparency. I'd like to take this time to thank our House Minority Research Office and all of our caucus staff who put in countless hours to make this outreach possible. The 2025 Republican Caucus Package was created for the Hawaii we know and love, our Hawaii. So first, cost of living. It is our caucus's priority to put money back in the pockets of our residents for everyday expenses like gas, food, housing, and utilities. We made some good steps forward last session, but our communities need relief now. Therefore, we will introduce measures that completely eliminate the income tax, eliminate tax on tips, and eliminate the GET on food and medical services. People are struggling now, and this body needs to take bold steps to help our local families not just survive, but thrive. Second, housing. We have seen firsthand how the insurance crisis, the rising cost of housing, and red tape have exacerbated the housing crisis for our residents. Our caucus aims to remediate these contributing factors by streamlining the permitting process for building homes, providing tax credits for hurricane insurers, and diversifying and adding our pre-tax saving for first-time home buyers. Third, education. It's time to tune into the specific needs of our community's schools. Our proposed legislation creates elected school boards, implements more rigid cell phone rules in the schools, and diversifies our school transportation options. Fourth, crime and safety. We have heard the concerns of our constituents based on the data collected from our surveys. Our caucus is responding with measures that allow for enforcement and steeper penalties for those who endanger kupuna, empower our residents to protect themselves, and crack down on the reckless use of e-bikes. When fully implemented, these measures will provide a greater sense of security and safety in our communities. Fifth, Native Hawaiian advocacy. We want to turn this body's attention to the needs of our Native Hawaiian families. Our caucus proposes bills that will ensure Hawaiian homeland leases are eligible for federal lending programs and increase eligibility for many Native Hawaiians still on the wait list. We also need to uphold the state's constitutional obligation to transfer the full 20% of income and proceeds from the Public Land Trust to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. 6, government reform. Our state clearly needs greater accountability and efficiency. Our caucus proposes common sense solutions like implementing financial transparency on all fiscal bills, which means we have to know how much something costs before we vote on it. Currently, 44 other state legislatures already do this, and it's time Hawaii does as well. We need to pass term limits, and as we saw very clearly in the past 3 elections, we need to ensure everyone who wants to vote on election day can do so without having to wait 6 hours in line. These issues are important, but they are just the tip of the iceberg of all the legislation that we will be dealing with this session. Working together and hearing every voice is very important, and it's a step in the right direction for our state. For all the State House representatives on the floor being sworn in today, my 7-year-old son Noah and the rest of my family made you a small gift. In front of you, you will see a coaster like this one. It has your name on it, as well as the word representative. As I often say, always remember that representative is not your name, it is not your title, it is your job description. We are here to represent our districts and our state, which is what the state seal signifies on the coaster. Finally, surrounding it are all the key words of our House shared values: aloha, collaborate, respect, ohana, integrity, accountability, compassion, stewardship, and hard work. These are the cornerstones of our House values. These values don't mean that we have to agree on everything. I believe that differences of opinions are important, and it's how we create the best legislation for our state. What these values stand for is that every member of this body will treat each other and the public in the highest regards in alignment with our values. It's not always going to be easy. It's a tall order to live up to. We're going to make mistakes. However, having those values to stand on and having grace with one another will go a long way. I look forward to a productive session with all of you, and every time you go to have a sip of water or take a drink of coffee, look down at your coaster and remember your job description, who we represent, and the values that we stand on. Mahalo.